What's up, guys? Happy Monday. Welcome to PuckTime on WagerTalk TV. Andrew and Carmine with you. We've got games pretty much all day long today, starting with an early game, Detroit and Nashville. As Carmine and I were talking backstage together, it's part of a European global series, but as Carm said to me, they're not actually playing in Europe, but they're playing in the Europe time, so they can watch it in prime time over there. So look forward to a great day. I got a 4% best bet locked and loaded for that early game, 2 p.m. Eastern, and a couple other games going tonight as well. Carm, what's up, man? Good morning.
Good morning, man. Trade deadline is here, man. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to see if we're going to see some moves, which could affect some of the games today and likely will affect some of the lines for tomorrow. But it'll be interesting. But yeah, we start with a game in Smashville today at 2 a.m. 2 p.m. Looking forward to it. I got like a ton of stuff on the go, but I'm going to be watching that game. Funny thing is, Steven Stamkos already came out and said there is zero chance he waives his no trade clause. So he is going to stay in Smashville. It would take a hell of a lot of money and some unique kind of deal for Stamkos to leave or for him to waive it. But when he says there's zero chance, that means there's zero chance. So we shall see.
And Ryan O'Reilly, Carm, he says he won't go to a big market. You know, I got to say, as much as I understand why NHL players do that, isn't it kind of a bad look for players that say they don't want to go to a big market? That seems a bit weird to me, how the older they get in their career, they become so particular with where they would play. I saw one thing from Steven Stamkos, one of the only teams he would go back to, Carm, Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah. Well, as far as Ryan O'Reilly goes, he can go to a small market team that is playing some big market hockey right now, the Buffalo Sabres.
Yeah.
I have to believe the Sabres are going to make a trade just to add a little bit of depth. And you always worry about adding someone at the trade deadline and it completely screws up the team chemistry. The Sabres could use a player. Alex Tuch is an unrestricted free agent this summer. There were chances that if the Sabres weren't doing as well as they are doing right now, that he would be on the move. They would be moving at the trade deadline. I think he's going to stay. So with that said, we'll see. Maybe Ryan O'Reilly to the Buffalo Sabres. I would love to see that deal. He's not going to go to a team like the Toronto Maple Leafs because, quite frankly, why would you want to go to a team that's not going to make the playoffs, Andrew? But anyways, to sum up my weekend, and then we'll get to yours, and then we'll get to these games right away. Friday and Saturday were pretty good hockey-wise. Sunday was an absolute disaster. It was like dog day. Every dog won, with the exception of, I think, the end of the night. The Anaheim Ducks came back to win their game against Calgary, but every other dog won. I was bitten twice, at least twice, with a couple client plays. Florida Panthers, man, they did everything but win against the New York Islanders, but it is what it is. We're going to move on to today. Guys, we're going to cover Columbus and the Rangers, Carolina, Seattle, Colorado, LA Kings, same game parlay from Andrew, a pod play. Friday's pod play was a winner with the Buffalo Sabres against the Florida Panthers. And the 6-60 went 5-1. The only losing play on the 6-60, the Pittsburgh Penguins lose in a shootout to the New York Rangers, blowing a 2-0 lead. We had 6-0 in our hands, guys. We had it. And the Penguinos didn't do it for us, Andrew.
Great job with the 6-60, Carm. It was a good segment. And I'll tell you, I had the Penguins, man. I had the Penguins. And I had two games on Saturday that both teams had a 2-0 lead and they lost 3-2. And the other team was the Nashville Predators, actually, who we're talking about today a little bit here later in the show with the POD. But, you know, I look at those games and they just drive you crazy because on Friday, I did my every game on the board video, right? And, you know, I won't get into this with you, but it's the biggest thing that we face in the business which is there's, let's say 13 games on a Saturday. I'm probably not going to bet all 13 games, but on my every game on the board video, I had an opinion on a lot of the games. So, like that Oilers and San Jose game, I hope a lot of you guys had the over in that game, because how I left that off my card, I have absolutely no idea. But to see the Penguins go up 2-0, I thought I was going to start my day off on a good note. Same for you. And and then they blow that lead away. Was very, very tough to see. And I'll tell you, Carm, your Buffalo Sabres, man. We talk about wins, we talk about losses. I liked Seattle on Saturday night, and I never do parlays in hockey, really. But I was like, you know what? I think Tampa's going to bounce back. I'll take Tampa and pair them with Seattle against Vancouver, because Vancouver's not going to win. And then it's 4-0 Buffalo on Saturday. I'm like, oh my God, man. I have Buffalo on the only bet list. I cannot bet against them right now. They're that good.
It was a little odd. I didn't have the game, but I was tempted to put out a pod play on Saturday on the Sabres plus 200, because I just thought they were super impressive against Florida. But on the second of a back-to-back, I wasn't sure they could replicate that against Tampa Bay. And I took my wife out for dinner, and I leave. The game is just starting. I park at the restaurant. I get out of the car and I look at my phone. I see 4-0. I'm like, 4-0? How's it 4-0 already? I thought it was a mistake. So I had to hit on the actual game to see that there were actual goal scorers. I thought something was going on. So I don't know what is going on right now. If the playoffs started right now, boys, for all you people watching, it would be the Buffalo Sabres hosting the Montreal Canadiens in the first round, or as I would like to call it, a first round bye for the Buffalo Sabres. But I digress. Andrew hates when I do that and call them the free space on the bingo card. The Sabres are no longer the free space on the bingo card. But with that said,
Carm,
Andrew,
that would make for some good content, I'd say, if me and you went to those games together.
Yeah. You know what's going to make for some great content? I believe the trip is still on. I am going to Buffalo on March the 27th to watch the Buffalo Sabres and the Detroit Red Wings with Johnny Detroit, his beautiful wife, and one other person. It won't be the Prez. He's gone. He's 6 weeks in Whistler, but he will be on Thursday and Friday this week on PuckTime before he goes skiing. Detroit and Buffalo, they're going to be battling as well too. So that is going to be a great game, and we'll see which way that one goes. If you don't see me on Mondays, if the Sabres win and you don't see me on Mondays PuckTime, it is because Johnny had me removed and sent a Sportsmemo or something. But with that said, Andrew, we got to get to the games. Let's get to this one here. Hey, I did that pretty good. It is Columbus and the Rangers. Minus 125 on Columbus, plus 105 on the Rangers at home, who continue to average just under 2 goals per game. The total sits here at 6.5. Andrew, where are you going with this one?
Well, Carm, I mean, when you look at this game, I think that Columbus has been a team that I've wanted my money on for quite a while this season. And, I think that when you look at even when they've come off a loss or when they've come off a win, they've been able to have a really good level of consistency. And, looking at their games since the break, we have seen the Rick Bowness system still kind of stick around, but the defense hasn't looked the exact same. So I worry about maybe they're relying a little bit too much on the goaltending. If we look back to before the break, they won against the Blackhawks 4-2, not a playoff team. They won against the Blues 5-3, not a playoff team. The Devils 3-0. That team's not doing too well. And of course, again, another shutout against the Blackhawks 4-0. So sometimes, Carm, I feel like we can get a little bit too ahead of ourselves with a team with how they maybe were performing just because of the teams that they were playing against. Now, that's not me saying that I'm not a Columbus Blue Jackets guy, because I still respect what they've been able to do. And I still think this team is a team that we can get behind. And when it comes down to it, the defensive metrics are what's so horrible for the New York Rangers right now. 19.6 scoring chances against per 60. Not really generating much offense as well. 2.3 goals for per 60 for the New York Rangers. High danger chances against in their last 10. 6.9 for the Columbus Blue Jackets. So when it comes down to it, this New York Rangers team is battling. They're trying to go by their leaders and stuff. But we saw over the weekend in that game against the Pittsburgh Penguins, they still came out flat. They still were down 2-0. They needed a shootout to win. I still think the Columbus Blue Jackets are probably the side to go with here, Carm. And not to mention, if it ain't broke, we won't try and fix it here. It's still the New York Rangers at home. So I'll go to you with this, Carm. How do we approach this Columbus Blue Jackets team? They're going into the break. They were on an absolute red-hot heater. Now they're 0-2 post-Olympic break. But my data still says that they're playing decent hockey. And the New York Rangers aren't really creating many chances right now. I still think I want my money on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Not sure if I'll get to the window quite yet with it. Money actually has come in on the Rangers, surprisingly. But, if you had to pick a side here, Carm, wouldn't you want to take the side that's at least going in the right direction?
Yeah, I would. I think the makeup of the playoffs, Andrew, is tough right now on Columbus, because if you look at the standings, the standings right now has been 10th place, 66 points. The Bruins technically hold down the final playoff spot, but the Bruins don't actually have the final playoff spot at 81 points, because 3 teams from the Metro have to make it in. So you have Carolina at 82 points, you have the Pittsburgh Penguins at 75, and you have the New York Islanders at 75. So instead of being 5 points back, they're actually 9 points back of a playoff spot. You're asking a team to essentially make up 9 points in 24 games. That's the task at hand for them. And I don't know if they can do it. A couple losses out of the gate after the All-Star break is not a good thing for them. The Rangers get into those games where they're just low-scoring games at home, and I think it's a product of them just not being able to score at home. On the road, they have a top 5 record in the Eastern Conference, the Rangers, but this game's at home. They don't score much. They were benefactors of a Pittsburgh team that blew a lead, number one, took a penalty at the wrong time, gave the Rangers life with a power play goal, and it's just sort of steamrolled from there. The Penguins had that game under control until they didn't, and that's why you can't take penalties. You look at this one, and as much as you want to say, Columbus has the better upside, I don't think either team has an upside right now. I think the task at hand for Columbus is too tough, and you look at it, the Pittsburgh Penguins aren't losing many games. The New York Islanders are definitely not losing games, and Carolina aren't losing games. It's going to be super tough for them to overcome 9 points to finish in one of the top 3 spots in the Metro and make the playoffs. With that said, I have no idea what the Rangers are doing, even winning games at this point. I think they're locked into that number 2 spot anyways, as far as the worst record in the league, just ahead of Vancouver. I'm going to take the Rangers at plus money at home.
The Rangers. All right. And this is the thing, Carm. When you look at this game, though, would you say that correlates with the under? Just because they're not generating many chances, that you're going to need a low-scoring game? I don't mind being head-to-head a little, but I feel like that would be correlated. Maybe I would even just switch sides and just go on the under, because I think I'm more confident in that than I am in the Columbus Blue Jackets side. Could be a bit fishy, but until the Rangers start showing me some offense, I'm just not ready to expect a high-scoring game with them.
Yeah, you got to look at goaltending too, Andrew. Like I'm seeing right now that Igor Shesterkin is confirmed. Obviously, the good news for the Rangers is that Shesterkin's back, that Adam Fox is back. So at least they get a couple key pieces back to their lineup. Obviously, too little, too late. Even if they came back 15 games ago, it would have been too little, too late. And I'm seeing that Elvis is going to be in the building tonight. He's expected to start for the Columbus Blue Jackets tonight. We'll see closer to game time, or who the first goalie off the ice is. But you look at as far as Columbus goes, this is the first of a back-to-back. They're at home against Nashville tomorrow, and it's actually showing Elvis for both games, and then it's showing Jet Greaves for the following games, for the 2 games after that, the Thursday and Saturday games, where they're home to Florida and home to the Utah Mammoth. So we'll see as far as goaltending goes, who's in there. But if it's Elvis, I would think it's a step down as far as goalies go, because I preferred Jet Greaves. I don't understand why, unless there's an injury to Jet or something, why he wouldn't be in one of these 2 games today or tomorrow. But we'll
you'd
see
think so.
once the morning skate is done in New York, what's reported. But I think the Rangers at plus money. I would never lay money with the Rangers, but you're not in this spot. You're getting money with them. So with that said, I'll go with the Rangers.
All right, let's keep things going to Carolina and Seattle here. Karma, this speaking of teams that have been on a roll since the break here, this Carolina team's been looking pretty damn good as of late. And I'll tell you, they're putting up goals. They're looking sharp. But hey, Seattle, they just took down the Vancouver Canucks. The question I'm going to ask you with this is, how much do we care at this point whenever any team beats the Vancouver Canucks? How much do we even care that a team put up 5 goals on the Vancouver Canucks on a Saturday night? Does that even impact our handicap? And also, can everybody make fun of me in the group chat right now for not betting on the Kraken against the Canucks on Saturday? That was the easiest pick I could have made. Do you care, Carm, for that? I mean, Seattle beats them, puts up 5 goals, but then again, it's the Vancouver Canucks, right?
Yeah. If anyone hasn't been watching, I've been saying I'm going to fade Vancouver the rest of the season. I'm just going to try and find ways of doing it where I can bet against them, whether in some cases even taking the puck line. They're not a very good team. Any team that's lost 18 of their last 20 games, and even more so going farther back than that, how do you have any confidence in the team whatsoever? You can't. How do you expect them that, hey, tonight's their night, they're going to get it done? They might get it done, but you will not find me playing any money on the Vancouver Canucks for the rest of the season. With that said, you know what I mean? The Kraken needed that. A couple of bad games for them on the road against St. Louis and in Dallas, where they only scored a goal in each game. So getting some of that scoring back was important to them. They're still in that playoff hunt. They're still right there, Andrew, to get into the playoffs. And, you know, the interesting thing is when you look at that conference, and is one of the reasons why I talked to Brian Leonard about this on the last show, and we talked about the Vegas Golden Knights minus 4,000 to make the playoffs, but they were plus 2,200 to miss the playoffs. And I said, let's see how Vegas does in that road trip. Well, you look at it, Seattle, Andrew, is on 65 points with a game in hand. They're only 5 points out, believe it or not, for top spot in the Pacific. The Pacific division is separated, 4 teams separated by 5 points. Vegas with 70, Anaheim with 69 and winning games. Go Ducks. The Edmonton Oilers, losers of 4 of their last 5, 66 points, and the Seattle Kraken with 65 points. And Edmonton's played the most games of those teams, 2 games on the 61 games, two games on Seattle. So Seattle gets to make up a game here. And possibly, if the game goes to overtime, they will overtake the Edmonton Oilers for that spot. The only problem is you have the Carolina Hurricanes coming to town, who just can't seem to lose any games, Andrew. This is another team that's on a roll, and they're they're now 2 points up on the Tampa Bay Lightning for first place in the Eastern Conference. So therein lies the thing. The problem is they are 7th on the road this season, 15 and 11 on the road, only scoring 79 goals, only allowing 69, so a plus 10 goal differential, but they're not as dominant on the road as they have been at home. 48 of their points have come on home ice this season for Carolina, 34 on the road. Do the Kraken have a chance to win tonight? I think they could upset them tonight. plus 154 doesn't seem like a bad price for a home dog who came back from a bad road trip, Andrew, and did what they had to do. They beat a bad team, and they beat them the way you're supposed to beat them, convincingly. If they had won that game 3-2, you might be a little worried that there's something wrong with the Seattle team. The Kraken are live here tonight on a day after Dogs won pretty much every game yesterday, with the exception of the last one. The dog is wild here.
Yeah, we talk a lot about, the Freaky Friday, but I think yesterday was Freaky Sunday. Like you said, Carm, off the top, it was a weird day. Dogs, unders. For me, I'll say I just like the under in this game. Carolina's shot suppression is just so good. They're so good at keeping teams out of their own end. Their transition game is strong. They don't really make their goalies have to be stressed whatsoever. Their goalies never have to worry about anything. And I feel like against this team, where the Seattle Kraken, they don't honestly create that many offensive chances. They're one of those teams that capitalizes on any chance that they get. They have a strong shooting percentage. So when I look at this matchup overall, there are some sixes over there. I'm tempted by the under here. Back-to-back games, I kind of like the unders. Seattle putting up 5 goals, and the reason why I went to Carm by saying how much do we care about that, because as Carm said, it's the Vancouver Canucks. So how much do we really care that they scored 5 goals against the Vancouver Canucks? As for the Carolina Hurricanes, they actually scored 5 goals in both of their games back so far since the break. Both of those games were at home, though, so we'll see how they do on the road. But if you can get the 6, I think for me it's worth a little bit of a sprinkle on the under. But we'll see. Carm, I don't have it in front of me, but I'm curious the Hurricanes' road and home splits. We know how great of a home team they are, but I'd have to imagine they score a little bit less on the road as well. So that bodes well for you, and it bodes well for me as well. So
Yeah.
I'll rock with the under in this game, and I don't know if I'll watch it because it's not always fun to watch unders, but I do like this one.
The problem always is always, Andrew, it's sports bettors, unless you want to delve into like the numbers and statistics, you just kind of look and you go, Carolina's rolling. They're going to go into Seattle and beat them. And if you took that attitude yesterday, and even though I had a couple of favorites yesterday, I did not take that attitude because it's 2 of the teams I took weren't rolling, but they were in positions where the other teams were playing back-to-back 3rd and 4 nights, and it seemed like a good spot that didn't turn out to be a good spot. These teams played once. The game was played in Carolina. Carolina wins that game 3-2. If you look at the post-game analytics, the XG in that game was 3.18 to 1.81. So essentially 3-2 on the analytics. They played exactly to the numbers post-game, high danger chances, shots on goal. So the Kraken went into Carolina, where the Canes are super tough to beat, and played a very good game against them, came up on the wrong end. The venue switch now is here. And as I mentioned, the Canes aren't as good on the road, 7th best in the East, as opposed to one of the best records, if not the best record at home in the East, and the best record overall in the East. And I just think that this is a game in which it's a meaningful game to Seattle as well, too. If they were on the outside, far on the outside, looking in, it might be a game of desperation. I think it's a game in which they're going to try and play a tight game, keep it low scoring, and try and reverse that score line. They win 3-2, or game goes to overtime, they pick up a point, possibly 2. They are going to be happy against a top-notch team like the Carolina Hurricanes. So I'll stick my neck out and take the Kraken.
All right. I like it. Carmine, the dog bounty hunter. Is that what you are? You're the dog bounty hunter. I like
Andrew, before we get on to the next game, I got to put this up because I don't want to give this guy a hard time. But Josh says, talking about the Sabres are going to get bounced in the first round because the goalie is playing over their heads. Obviously, he hasn't watched the game the Sabres play this season, because it's not about their goaltending. Even though the goaltenders are playing well, you have some goaltenders on the Sabres whose save percentage is under 900. And the Sabres are winning because they are playing the Lindy Ruff style that he wanted them to play, what he wanted New Jersey to play.
Yeah.
They move the puck. They move it quickly. They move it to a man where it can't get intercepted in their defensive zone. They clear their defensive zone, giving teams very to little ozone time. You know what that does? It makes it a little easier on the goalies. You know what that does? It wins games. Against a team like the Tampa Bay Lightning, they dominated the game, and that was their defensemen and their forwards dominating the game, not the goalie. So I am going to disagree with that comment, Josh, regardless of how the first round ends. I am going to disagree with that comment because the Sabres goalies, and I said it all year, Andrew, with the Sabres goalies, I thought they would have to get rid of one of them because they couldn't go to a 3 goalie system. And it just looks like it's going to be Alex Lyon and Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen as the 2 goalies. I don't think we're going to see, unless it's at the end of the year to give these guys a bit of a rest, I don't think we're going to see Colton Ellis again in a Sabres uniform this season.
So is he going to play in the minors, or are they just rocking the 3 goalie system right now?
I think they give him some time in Rochester because you have to keep him sharp in the event that the guy gets injured or someone gets injured. You have to have him here and readily available to get into a game. So those are my thoughts as far as that goes. So Josh, not to give you a hard time, those are my thoughts. Opinions are like belly buttons. We all have them. So
we all have them,
and they all look different. You ever seen John Stamos's belly button? I remember seeing it on he showed it on an edition of Mean Tweets or something like that on the Tonight Show or whatever, and where someone tweeted, he's got the ugliest belly button, and then he raises his shirt, shows the belly button, and he goes like, yeah, the guy's got a point. So whatever, we got to get on.
And we've got a lot of teams that are in the playoffs this year that weren't in the playoffs last year so far. Like a lot of teams. There's a lot of teams that were out of the playoffs last year that didn't even have a chance to make it, and now we've got a change of a guard. So it's really interesting. You've got Toronto, you've got Ottawa, you've got Florida in the East. A lot of teams, on the outside looking in, and same goes for the West as well. Before we move on, I just want to bring up a couple little things we have going on here, Carm. Some great deals right now at WagerTalk. Buy 3, get 3 free. You can't mess up this deal here. 6 days for $69. Yes. WagerTalk seems to love these $69 deals, Carm. I guess we like to keep it like that, but 69, great number. 3 days, get 3 free. 6 days, all sports, all action. That means soccer. That means UFC. That means basketball. That means hockey. That means every single thing that we release, including spring training, including MLB regular season action, 6 days. So if you guys are jumping in today, you're better off getting this deal. You're going to get 6 days for a really good price. I've got a play going at 2 p.m. Eastern, 4% best bet. Yesterday, we hit a winner with Florida Panthers team total over 3.5. Running really, really good run. I think it's like over a plus 23 unit run. Carmine is absolutely cooking as well right now. And there's also this deal going on. And this is for the big time players, for the guys that want to get in long term. All in for the year. Ultimate all access pass. This is under $4 a day. So between Carmine and between myself, we handicap sports all year long. I would say this package itself, the all year access, is going to be worth it enough for Carmine just for the World Cup with how many plays you'll get from him. But for me, I've got hockey, you've got basketball, we've got UFC. Then you go to the summer, I've got baseball, I've got CFL, profitable in both those sports, under $4 a day. It's a pretty good way of making money if you guys are interested in the long term. I always say, Carmen, with these packages, people are going to be buying plays. They're going to be betting each day. So if you're planning on buying plays, this deal is a hell of a lot cheaper than spending $25 on a regular 4% pick. It's a much better deal.
Listen, it's a great deal because it's like $500 off, I believe, something along those lines or whatever. They have a great deal that's going on at WagerTalk, and you can always get in touch with the office as well too. But obviously college football for me, and I had a phenomenal college football season. NFL, always do great in the NFL. NHL, you get the end of this season and the start of next season with that 1 year. Of course, the World Cup, and then there's soccer, pretty much 365 days a year. So just a ton of sport for me. The only ones I don't do, guys, is basketball. And it's the old thing of stay in your lane. I don't watch it. I don't bet it. I don't handicap it. So why would I ever tell you to bet it? So that's the only sport. That's the only sport that I don't do, but a great deal. I'm looking forward to it. And even that 3-day plus 3-day deal, you're going to get 6 days. I have a 5% play that'll be up in the NHL for tomorrow night after today's show, but 2 games in soccer today and 2 games in NHL already loaded for clients. And yes, Andrew, I've been cooking in the NHL, but yesterday I burnt the steaks. So well, let's get back to this one. Speaking of steaks, this coach wins a game and they crucify him at the stake. Hiller fired from the LA Kings after a 2-0 win over the Calgary Flames. Andrew, steak and flames. That's got there's got to be some joke in there somehow. Colorado minus 175, Kings plus 142. 5.5 the total here, Andrew. Are the Kings a seller? I'm going to ask you that question. And do you think they still have a chance to make the NHL playoffs?
No, I don't think so. I think they trade for Panarin, and you watch Fiala get injured at the Olympics. You watch Kuzmenko get injured, and you're going to ask yourselves, what the hell was the point of us trading for Panarin at this point? At least they've got someone that can help put fans in the seats, but I'm not really sure. Carm, I've looked long and hard at this game, and I'm going to tell you, I think this might just be a player prop game for me for the most part, but I think you have to ask yourself, the coach's bump, we love talking about it. The coach's bump can be so live, and it's so hard to not even look at it right now because of how successful the coach's bump angle has been. DJ Smith takes over as the head coach. People have been calling for Hiller to lose his job for months, not even weeks. People thought Hiller should lose his job long time ago. But I can't stop thinking about what Teddy Covers says in the NBA. When a team is dead, they're dead. Don't try and revive them. And that's how I feel a little bit about this LA Kings team. So when I look at this game, if sometimes when a coach gets fired, you think they're going to respond defensively. Every player wants to work hard to impress the new coach. Every player gets a little bit of a wake-up call, and they take it personally when their head coach gets fired. But, Carm, I can't see them refraining this Colorado offense from scoring some goals. I can't. So I've been kind of a totals guy mostly today, but I like the over here. I can't see LA prohibiting Colorado from flexing their muscles and scoring a few goals on them. I can't see it. So we'll see. I feel like that's the best course of action for LA, is to try and make this a good defensive battle. But as far as the coaching bump is concerned, maybe it will help them score some goals, but I'm not sure it helps them defense. Can you imagine what worse of a team to play after you fire your coach than Colorado? Could they not wait until after this game at least to fire their coach?
Yeah, the problem here is, we could very well see some line movement today in this one is, I believe the Kings could be a seller at this point. I don't think you should go out and try and find someone just because of the Fiala injury. But there's a lot more that's wrong with this team than is right with this team, Andrew. And even the coach's bump doesn't make sense to me as it pertains to the LA Kings, because it's just an interim coach right now for them. And, they're going to name their coach in the off season, I have to believe. But you have things in play here. Last game against Calgary, Armia and Drew Doughty did not play. They were both in the press box, both injured. You'll have to wait and see what the status is of those two guys as far as today goes. You have Darcy Comfort, the goalie. Does he start today? Some places are showing that he is going to start, but some places had him that he has an illness. The illness is maybe that in the last 2 games, he's allowed 8 goals in 4 periods of play. He was pulled in the last game after allowing 4 in 26 minutes against the Edmonton Oilers. 8 goals in 4 periods of play. You can only blame so much on the team in front of you. Sometimes the goalie has to take a position there as well too. So we'll see if he's in goal for them tonight as well too. He could be on the move. They could very easily move Darcy Comfer, even though he's allowed 8 goals in 4 periods of play, to a team that is looking for a goalie in the for the final push. Because let's remember, Darcy Comfer did win a Stanley Cup. Okay, yes, it was with the Colorado Avalanche, but he did still win a Stanley Cup. There is no way I'm taking the LA Kings at plus 142. You would have to give me a hell of a lot more. I wouldn't even take a sportsbook boost where they said, we're going to give you 60% more. It might be a player prop game, Andrew, as you mentioned. I think could be the right way to go here. I say you keep an eye on this line. I say you keep an eye on what moves are coming out, because if the Kings line all of a sudden starts to shoot to plus 150, plus 155, plus 160, that means that there's going to be some guys that are being held out of the lineup pending some trade clearances. So we'll see what happens there.
And you're right about this direction of the LA Kings, Carm, because it's very difficult for them, because they've made the playoffs every year, but then they lost to the Edmonton Oilers. And now the question, they're going in injured. They don't really know where they are. You fire their head coach. I mean, the Florida Panthers have dominated the Edmonton Oilers. The Edmonton Oilers have dominated the LA Kings. Like, the Oilers are so happy to have faced the Kings early on in the playoffs every year. And now the Kings were starting to stack up. They had Panarin, they had Fiala, they had Kuzmenko, they had Kempe. And now the injury bug gets them. The coaching now getting fired. So it's tough for them right now, Carm, I think. And I'm very curious. As you know, I love the coaching stuff and seeing if they can get momentum off it. And I'm going to be following it. And for all of you guys watching the show, I'm going to be sitting here complaining about how I didn't take it if LA wins 3-2 tonight. But as Carm mentioned, I just don't think that price is good enough. It just doesn't seem like a good enough number to get behind. It really doesn't.
Yeah, Andrew, listen, we can talk till we're blue in the face about this game and not want to take the Kings because the price, like you said, is not right. And at the end of the day, the Kings could surprise Colorado and beat them tonight. Upsets happen on any given day. We saw it yesterday with a bunch of teams. Chicago in Utah, shutting them out. You know what I mean? The dog does win games. That's what establishes the market, is that not everybody is on one side. You need people on both sides to have a market. But with that said, just not the right price for me. I just think there's more bad things than good things happening right now for the LA Kings. And Colorado has the Dallas Stars, who set a franchise record, 8 wins in coming back against your Nashville Predators. 8 wins, a franchise record. And they are breathing down Colorado's throats for that number one seed, not only overall, but number 1 in the division. It's amazing that the top 3 teams, I think, are in that division, Minnesota, Colorado, and the Dallas Stars, and they're all in that central division. So very interesting.
As far as the other division is concerned, Carm, I saw a pretty crazy tweet about the Golden Knights. You were talking about the Golden Knights earlier, what you talked about with Brian Leonard. Vegas, last time Vegas beat a team currently in a playoff spot, guess how long ago it's been? November 20th.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Well, and unfortunately for them, and for him as well too, Mark Stone was injured in that last game against the Washington Capitals, where they lose 3-2. So he could be missing for a while as well too. We'll have to see what his status is sort of moving forward. But I'm just looking at the updated odds and the plus. Remember, I did say that if it wasn't a good road trip for the Vegas Golden Knights, that plus 2,200 would be gone and it would be plus 1,500. Currently at DraftKings, Vegas to miss the playoffs is plus 1,500. So I've nailed that price right
There you
now.
go.
They still have a couple toughies to go on this road trip. We'll see how they fare, but yeah, a couple more losses for them before they head home, and they haven't been solid at home all season long. They're basically a 500 team, give or take a couple percentage points. If they continue to miss players and injuries, I don't know. If I told you, if I made a statement on this show a month ago that the Vegas Golden Knights were going to miss the playoffs or had a chance to miss the playoffs, you guys would have had me committed to some hospital with a white, with one of those white vests that has me like this or whatever. But with that said, who knows? We'll see. Let's give it a week and then we'll revisit this video. But
And
with
I
that
find it
said,
crazy. So again, those teams, Carm, the Hurricanes twice, the Red Wings once, and the Mammoth. Those are the only wins that Vegas have against teams currently in a playoff position.
yeah,
That is shocking. That I did not realize that if you look at it. Because think about it. Think about some of the wins that they've had that you can think off the top of your head. And all of those wins were against teams that weren't in the playoff. Hey, good for them. You beat the Maple Leafs twice. The Maple Leafs suck this year. It's not like they're beating good teams.
well, Andrew, that's the thing. You know what I mean? And I know that the Knights aren't in action tonight. I think they play tomorrow. I'm pretty sure they play tomorrow. But let me just have a quick look, just to mention what I did before. So right now they're fourth with 70 points. But like I said, they're essentially 5 points below. They could be five. They're just 5 points above the line. But when you look at the Vegas Golden Knights schedule, and again, I'm not saying they're going to miss the playoffs. I just say that there's value in taking plus 2,200 and still some value in plus 1,500. They play the Sabres tomorrow night. Then they play the Detroit Red Wings, two teams that are in the playoffs. They come home to face Minnesota, the third best team overall. They play the Edmonton Oilers, the Dallas Stars, and then the Pittsburgh Penguins, who are in a playoff spot, come to town. The Chicago Blackhawks. Then they play the Sabres, Utah. Let's finish off their season. Dallas, Winnipeg, Edmonton, Washington. A freebie against Vancouver. Probably a freebie against the Flames. The Edmonton Oilers once again. Seattle Kraken, Colorado, Winnipeg Jets, Seattle Kraken. Interesting schedule for them, to say the least. They're going to have to play much better than they're playing right now.
Yeah, we'll see if many things change, because I think this year in the playoffs is going to be really interesting. The last thing I'll say is this, though, Carm. You know how sometimes when things are really competitive and then all of a sudden the playoffs start and it ends up just being the chalk that wins? Like, if people haven't gotten their Tampa Bay Lightning futures in, should they should be doing that right now? Because you look at the East, like, the East has been fun. It's been competitive, but who's beating Tampa in a 7-game series? You look across it, there's so many opportunities in the West and the East right now for depth and for upset teams and lesser teams to do well. But then sometimes you always say that the cream rises to the top. And as much as we might see some of these new teams make the playoffs, maybe we end up just seeing your Tampa Bay and Colorado, or your Tampa Bay and, Minnesota, or whoever it might be all along, right?
Yeah, and this is it. The regular season just sets up. It's an 82-game preseason for the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's what it is. I have no illusions of grandeur when it comes to the Buffalo Sabres. I'm just happy that for the first time since like 2011, I think it is, they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's it. They make the playoffs. If they get bounced in the first round, okay, well, they made the playoffs. You know what I mean? I see it every year. If you're a fan of any team from Buffalo, you should never get excited. The Buffalo Bills have proven that each and every year. It's the playoffs that matter. And like you said, the cream rises to the top. And you're going to expect teams in the playoffs like Carolina, who are absolutely dominant at home, Tampa Bay. Once Vasilevsky is in Vasilevsky playoff form, and Tampa has all of their guys, Braden Point, everyone going for them, they're going to be super tough to beat as well too. And the case can be made for a team like Tampa Bay if they win the Atlantic, Andrew, that it is a much easier it's a much easier road to the conference finals for them than in any of their Stanley Cup seasons, because it's normally been Tampa, Toronto, Boston, Tampa, Toronto, Florida. Those teams are not there. They're not going to make the playoffs. So they're not playing against teams that they could get a Sabres team, they could get a Detroit team, they could get a Montreal team, teams that aren't used to being there.
Yeah.
So Tampa, in a 7-game series with the experience that they have, are likely going to make it to the conference finals. And then you get a team like Carolina. So it's shaping up that way. We always hope that someone throws a monkey wrench into the wheel, but we shall see. And then Colorado, Dallas, good goalies, good teams. They can score. They'll win games. And you throw in Minnesota there into that mix as well too. So
let's not. And then again, we can't forget about Carolina. Like Carolina, maybe this is finally their year, because Rod Brendamore, we said it last year together on PuckTime. It's one thing if you always make it to the playoffs or if you always win one round, but nobody really cares if you have the same success every single time. So I look forward to following it, though. We'll keep you guys posted with all the playoff info. We got a 3-leg same-game parlay here for today, guys. For those of you watching, I'll just mention my best bet of the day is in the early game, 2 p.m. Eastern start, Detroit and Nashville. I will have plays moving forward on the later slate, but my best bet, favorite play of the day, is on that 2 p.m. Eastern game. Nathan McKinnon, anytime goal scorer. Look, I don't like to bet the chalk very often. I do like it today. Minus 105. The guy is shooting. The guy's getting a lot of chances, and his ice time is super high. Martin Necas, 3+ shots on goal. Artemi Panarin, the bread man, 3+ shots on goal. This takes us to a nice plus 415. I like it. I think that McKinnon will find the back of the net against this LA Kings team, the way he's been playing right now. Necas has been having a high shot volume, and Panarin is a guy that right now, when there's not that many bright spots for the LA Kings, at least he has been a bright spot for this team. We'll look for at least 3 shots on goal from him. That takes us to a nice plus 415 here. And I'll just throw this out here again, guys. Buy 3, get 3, 6 days for just $69. I'm on a really good run right now with college basketball side plays. We went 2-0 on Saturday with college basketball plays. We passed the board yesterday. We'll be back on track tonight with college basketball. And yesterday we crushed it with the NHL, and we're on a plus 22 unit run. So do not buy daily picks. If you're looking to buy picks ever from a handicapper, 3 days at the minimum, in my opinion. And this will get you buying 3 days and get 3 days for free, 6 days for $69. Back over to you, Carm.
Well, that's interesting. Andrew, I was just looking while you were going through that. I was just having a quick look at the LA Kings miss the playoffs. They're minus 150 to make the playoffs, and they are plus 130 to miss the playoffs. And I don't know, I'm not sure what they're doing at this trade deadline. But it is interesting, that price, given the fact that they're on the outside looking in. But if you look at their schedule, maybe they will be a buyer at the trade deadline, because if you look at their schedule, and let me just have a quick look here. As I mentioned, they have the lowest strength of schedule the rest of the way at 529. 15 games at home, 11 away. That was right after the Olympic break. But here's the thing, Andrew, they play Vancouver 3 more times. They play Calgary twice. And they have another game, I think, against a couple against San Jose, and they play the Rangers, a couple of bottom dwellers, Rangers in New Jersey in the Eastern Conference. They have like 9 games against teams that are nowhere near a playoff point of view. If they make a trade today, would you take them at minus 150 to make the playoffs? I'm interested. I'm staying off of it, but I got to ask you what your opinion is.
I don't think so, Carm. I don't think I can do it. Like, what would have to move the needle for you? Like, who would have to be brought in?
They finished their schedule. Interesting enough, these are their last 5 games of the season when they're looking to make the playoffs. Vancouver, they're home to Vancouver. They're home to Edmonton. They're at Seattle. They're at Vancouver. They're at Calgary. You would think at least 3 victories mixed in there. They have another game against Vancouver and Calgary ahead of that. So that's 5 games against Vancouver and Calgary. The problem is it's their next few games that matter. The Colorado tonight, the New York Islanders are in town on Thursday, and then they have the Montreal Canadiens coming in, and then they're on a East Coast trip where they're going to be playing. They play, let's have a look here, at Columbus, at Boston, at New York Islanders, at New Jersey Devils, at the Rangers before coming home to face the Flyers and Sabres. So I don't know. I thought I would throw it out there, but in keeping with that, guys, our Friday pod play came in, Buffalo Sabres at even money. This pod play, if you're watching this after 2:00, then you made a mistake because the pod play is this afternoon. Andrew, let's get that pod play up on the screen for me, please. Today's pod play, I am taking the over in the 2:00 game. Now, why is the 2:00 game being played? Like we mentioned earlier, it's kind of like the Global Series, but without the travel. The game is at 2:00 in Smashville, and they are going to be broadcasting this game throughout Europe and those countries like Finland, Sweden, Germany, where they would normally play some of those Global Series games. Give the NHL some more exposure with some stars on the ice, and there's guys on both teams that can score goals in this one. These teams played in Detroit earlier this season. It was an absolute goal fest, up and down, 6-3 for the Preds in Detroit. I think Detroit gets a measure of revenge here in a higher scoring affair. We're going over 6 minus 120 as your pod play.
Over 6. And Carm, I'll make it clear for everybody watching again that you are not on the Red Wings. You are on the over. Because if someone glances at that graphic without squinting their eyes.
They think that the Detroit team total is 6, and they may not want to be betting at all. But it is
over 6, both teams.
Over 6.
That is a comfy looking jacket. I will say that's a comfy looking jacket you got on there in that graphic.
The image is in red, but I expect it to be all green tomorrow, Andrew.
All right.
All green. So I'll throw out a prediction. How does this sound, Andrew? 5-3 for the Detroit Red Wings today. Let's keep the office happy that their Red Wings are winning games. 5-3 Detroit. I don't know what the exact score line on that game would be, Andrew, at 5-3, but I could look it up for you because that's just the kind of stuff I love to do. But let's see. Correct score, including overtime. Detroit to win, what did I say, 5-3? That price is 30-1. 30-1 on Detroit to win. You know how much pizza that would buy? That's a lot.
Well, the kind of pizza that you like to eat, Carm, a little bit less than the pizza I have, I think.
So there it is, over 6. Some of these guys think it was the Wings, but no, it's over 6 minus 120. Let's get some goals in that one. Andrew, 2 soccer plays for me. First one goes at 12:30, so you guys got half an hour to grab that. Grab a 1-day all access. You can grab that 3 days, get 3 days free package, or come along for the whole year. I am going to have a winning 2026, or I will grow all of my hair back on my head for next year's Puck Time. How is that for a challenge? All right.
We'll get to see Carm with some hair. So soccer action this afternoon, Carm. Hockey action for me. College basketball action tonight. Let's win the day, guys. Let's win the Monday. Let's have a great one. That will do it for Puck Time. Always fun when it's just the 2 of us, back with guests for the rest of the week, I do believe. We'll see you guys next time. Same place, right here on WagerTalk TV.